Hello, hello. Welcome to your Sunday Sweats. I'm Sherry, if we haven't practiced together before, and I'll be guiding you through this next 30-minute power flow. So while we're waiting for people to trickle in, you can always grab yourself some props if you like some canned goods or anything like that to bring your fingers a little closer to the floor. You can use a blanket or a towel or anything else that you need to grab. So feel free to get those things. And we'll begin just by finding a comfortable seat against the mat. So whatever that looks like for you is totally fine. Either you're kneeling or you're cross-legged. You're going to ground down through the sit bones, roll that flesh out from underneath your sit bones. And then lift the crown of the head up as though you're sort of a marionette attached towards the ceiling by the crown of the head itself. And then just let everything flow down from that space. Closing the eyes, hands resting either on the knees, palms up or down, or even in the lap if that's more comfortable. Taking a moment to wiggle out your jaw, soften your face, relax and let go. Just checking in with your breath, seeing where it is that your breath is flowing from today. And if you feel like you're kind of stuck in the chest, let's drop it down a little lower. Breathing space across the hip bones into the low portion of the belly, this nice pelvic bowl. Seeing where you can expand in that space between the hip bones as it travels up the belly to spread the intercostal muscles of the ribs apart. And with your exhales, use the core. Just get a little bit of a squeeze so that stale air can be compressed from the lungs, creating yourself a larger vacuum for your breath to naturally flow back into. As you're here playing around with your breath, observing, check in mentally with how you feel today. Knowing there's no right or wrong way of how to feel. Just acknowledge your mental space and try to let go of any expectation or judgment. Just go with the flow. Wherever you want work, you take it, but wherever you need to rest, you can take rest. Always your choice, child's pose, water. Whatever it is you need, rejoin when you feel ready. So with that, we'll come together for a couple united breaths. First, cleansing our lungs with an exhale. Breathing in through the nose. Sigh out the mouth. One more inhale. One more exhale. Close the mouth. Breathe back in and out through the nose. See if you can maintain a pace of breath that feels like more ease than effort. Once you've found that pace of breath, placing your right palm towards your belly or your left palm towards your heart to join your breath and heartbeat. And if you like to set an intention for practice, choosing any person, place, thing, or goal, whatever it is that inspires your movements on the mat today, to repeat in your mind just a few times now. And to seal off with a full breath in and out. Taking chin towards the chest, flutter the eyes open with a couple blinks, and then bring yourself into your first tabletop shape. So in your first tabletop, palms are underneath of the shoulders, knees are underneath of the hips, getting that nice base. We're playing into our thoracic spine a little bit more today. So with your next inhale, allowing the belly to drop, already feeling that very first bend as the belly dips down and the tailbone and the chest come up. And then exhale, round your spine. Push that floor away from you, really press into all 10 of those fingertips. Inhale again, let your belly drop. Gaze forwards, tail is up. And again, really exaggerate that cat spine. Feel the shoulder blades separate. Start to barrel roll the chest. We're going to take big bends into the elbows here as you stir the air with your torso. So seeing where you feel restricted, you can add some little fancy layers to yours if you like, if you want to kind of shift it around. Keep that emphasis really on that middle portion of the spine. And if you're making any kind of familiar pattern, try to go the opposite way so that you're balanced out. Another 3. Find that movement. Where are you restricted? Where are you kind of more free or more open? And then coming back into a neutral tabletop. Find about a 50% cat back. So you're pushing that floor away from you slightly, feeling that little puff of the shoulder blades up to the ceiling. Keep that work and step the legs back. High plank. So in your first high plank, you're pushing the floor away. It's like the floor's hot lava. You're trying to send the heart up towards the ceiling. You're high on the tips of the toes, feeling the body starting to turn on here for another 5. Press into all 10 of those fingertips to avoid dumping weight into the wrists for 3, 2, and then hips come up and back. So your first downward facing dog, you're gonna pedal it out, sway it out, shake it out, Make sure those feet are about hip width distance, so you can fit one or two of your fists in between the toes, not too wide, not too short. You're gonna shake out the head, yes and no, and if you feel a lot of pressure in your wrist or you feel like you're rounding in the back at all, you're gonna bend the knees a lot and let the heart just fall back towards the thighs, keeping that nice long spine. Don't care about straight legs in down dog, it's all about this length. So work with what you got here, especially in these first few moments. Our bodies aren't warmed up yet, so give yourself that allowance to let the stretch gradually arrive. And finding stillness in this first down dog. With your next inhale, let's ripple forwards, back into a high plank with the shoulders stacking back over the wrists. And then exhale, picking the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. One more like that. Inhale, rolling it forwards like an ocean wave. And then exhale, hips up and back into downward facing dog. This time, inhale, ripple it all the way forwards. Let's exhale, chaturanga. Belly nice and strong. Inhale to float the heart up, upward bend of choice, tops of feet on the mat. And then pick up from the hips, pick up from the core, send it up and back. Downward facing dog, big breath in, big breath out. Connect the big toes at the back of the mat. Work them just a smidge closer towards your palms. And inhale, right leg lifts, bending at the knee, kick that heel open towards the glute. Notice if your right shoulder's opening up, see if you can square it towards your mat instead. And use that right glute to help draw that right knee up nice and high. Take a big breath here. Exhale, slowly cross the body, touch that left elbow. Inhale to send it back, open up through the hip. Exhale, touching that right elbow. Good, this time inhale, open up the hip, stack it tall, and exhale, step those right toes forwards and set the back knee down to the mat. So if you have sensitive knees, you're gonna roll up your mat underneath of your knee. Give yourself a little bit of cushion. Back toe stays curled under, palms press you up onto the thigh. Draw the shoulders back. Let's take hands to the hips for just a moment here. Tug that right hip back in space, the left hip slightly forwards, and then allow the hips to settle down. From there, we'll take our arms in a cactus. Squeezing the shoulder blades back in your goalpost arms, almost like you're doing a lat pull down at the gym. If you had a bar that you're pulling down, maintain that strength between the shoulders. Here for 3, release your fingers nice and wide, get rid of those texty hands. For 2, and an inhale, send the fingertips up. And an exhale, palms come down. You're gonna unroll that mat up from underneath of your knee, rock the hips back into a half split. So in this half split, the right hip is back in space, the left hip is forwards. With your exhale, belly first as you fold. So think like a cow spine as you come down. You can stay here. If you wanna add something a little different, you can grab the pinky edge of the right foot with the left hand, cross the foot there, and then take the right fingertips off to the side. Give yourself a little rinse. So the more you kind of pull with that left arm, that left bicep, the more you're gonna feel in the back of your left shoulder. Taking one more big inhale here. One more big exhale. Sole of the foot comes down to the mat. Curl the back toes under, lift the left knee off the floor, press into the left palm, right hand comes to the back of the head, and then inhale, right elbow up to the ceiling. So right away, scissor the hips, right hip back, left hip forwards, high onto the tip of the left fingertip. See if you can maybe even hover the palm off the mat. Start to build that strength, start to build that heat. Here for 3. Right shoulder down, away from the ear. Here for 2. Now with your exhale, both palms come down to the inside of the ankle, drop your back heel, and spin to face the long end of the mat. Take an inhale, lengthen the heart halfway, pressing into that left palm, right thumb lifts up towards the ceiling. Right away, you're gonna drop the right hip down and pull the left hip up. So you can stay here. If you have a little bit more space to play with, maybe you're wrapping around for that left hip crease and you're guiding that left hip crease up with the assistance of that right palm. Here for 3, maybe gaze up if it's comfortable for the neck. Here for 2. And with your exhale, gently unwind. Slowly spin on the heels, stir your way back to the top of the mat. And attempt the fingers just in front of those right toes without jumping. Float the back leg up into your warrior 3. So finding your base here, you can keep your fingers on the floor or use your blocks or props, whatever you have. Maybe your palms come to heart center. Rocking that right hip down, left hip rather, down in space. Maybe you're interlacing fingers to the back of the head. Squeezing the shoulder blades together here. For 4, low belly up and in. 3, 2, big bend into the knee, land the back toes, send those fingertips up nice and high, big breath in. And exhale, palms come down to the mat, step it back into high plank, option to flow here, option to go back into downward facing dog. Always play with the work that you need and just leave any work that you don't. Once you're back in down dog, take a big breath in. Big breath out. Check in with that down dog, how things are feeling. Connect the big toes at the back of the mat. From there, inhale, left leg lifts. Three-legged dog. Bend at the knee, open up the hips. Stacking that left knee nice and tall. Dropping weight into that right heel. Pressing the fingertips into the mat and dropping that left shoulder blade down so it's in line with the right. Take a big breath here. Exhale, cross the body for your right elbow to touch. Inhale to send it back. Open up the hips, stack it tall. Exhale, touch that left elbow. Inhale to send it back. Stack it nice and tall. And then exhale, step those left toes forwards, setting the back knee down. Take any cushion you need for that right knee. And then palms press you up, hands to the hips. Left hip back, right hip forwards. Hugging that low belly, especially ladies. We have very flexible low backs. So you want to keep the engagement in the core to help protect your low back. Let the hips settle forwards, keeping that connection. Arms in a cactus, squeeze those shoulder blades down and back. Here for 3. Here for 2. Inhale, sends fingertips up to the ceiling. And exhale, palms come down to the mat. Rock your hips back into half split. And your half split, soft micro bend in that left knee. You can stay here if you like, or you can grab the pinky edge of the left foot with your right hand. Left fingertips off to the side. And pulling yourself in your forward twist. So belly nice and flat towards the thigh. Strong flex in those left ankles. Toes towards the shin. Take a big breath here. And a big breath out. Carefully placing sole of the foot back down to the mat. Curl that back toe under to lift the knee off the floor. Pressing into your right palm, left hand to the back of the head. Inhale, sends that left elbow up to the ceiling. So right away, scissor the hips. Left hip back, right hip forward. Soften that left shoulder blade down the back. Maybe even hovering the fingertips. Strong legs. Here for 5. Live in those legs. 4, 3, 2, and both palms down to the mat. Drop the back heel, spin to the long end of your mat, arriving back in your wide-legged forward fold. Once you're there, walking that hard forwards, pressing firmly into that right palm. Left thumb sweeps up, staying here, or wrapping around for your right hip crease. Use it to help pull that right hip crease up and send the left hip crease down as you push firmly into that bottom palm. Really nice. 3. Maybe gaze comes up as well. For 2. And carefully unwind. Palms come down to the floor, spin your way back to the top of the mat. Tenting the fingers just in front of those left toes without jumping. Float the back leg up. Staying here with fingers on the floor, hands to heart center, or even interlacing fingertips behind the back of the head, squeezing the elbows up and back. Low belly in, right hip wrapping down. Here for 3. Here for 2. Big bend to the knee to land the back toes. Send those fingertips up, celebrate your landing. And with your exhale, palms come down to the mat. Step it back into high plank, option to flow. You can always use knees for support. You can skip any vinyasas you like. Once we're back in our downward facing dog, take a big breath there. And a big breath out. Inhale to ripple forwards into high plank. Set the knees down to the mat into tabletop. Once you're in your tabletop, push firmly into the left palm. Inhale, send the right thumb up towards the ceiling. And exhale, thread the needle, hovering the right ear towards the mat. 2 more like that. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, thread that needle. Last one to hold. Inhale, open it up. And exhale, coming down. So right ear comes towards the floor or rests against the mat. Back of the right hand towards the floor as well. From here, try to level out those hips. So we're going to bring the right hip back and the left hip slightly forwards. Staying here, or maybe you're going to straighten your left arm to the top of the mat. Feeling the top of the mat with the fingertips. Here for 3. Really press into the back of that right hand. Breathe into the compression you've created. For 2. And carefully placing the left palm back down to the mat. Inhale, send the thumb up to the ceiling on the right hand, and then palm comes down to the mat. For the second I forgot to, you should open up the knees just a little bit, bring the tips of the toes just a little closer together for a bit more leverage. Pressing into the right hand, inhale, send the left thumb up, and exhale, sweep it underneath, thread the needle. 2 more. Inhale, and exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale to hold. So bring the ear down, bring the back of the hand down. You'll notice here what the hips are doing. The right hip needs to come back a little bit, the left hip slightly forwards. Staying here or sliding those right fingertips to the top of the mat. Now the compression that you feel between the shoulder blades, can you sense some breath there? Keep that low belly engaged. Keep hugging the right hip back. Here for another 3. Another 2. And carefully sliding that right palm down to the mat, send that left thumb up to the ceiling, and then palms come down to the floor. Find your classic tabletop shape. Take an inhale for cow, and an exhale for cat. Fine, keep that 50% cat back, step the legs back, high plank, and then send the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Once you're back in your down dog with your next inhale, bending at the knees, gaze forward, step or float to the top of the mat. An inhale to lengthen, squeeze those hamstrings. And an exhale to fold, soften the knees, let the head dangle. Rooting into the feet to rise, sweep arms up, gazes up. And exhaling, palms to heart center and down by the sides. So first round of sun salutation A, big toes connect towards the top of your mat. Let the heels fall slightly apart, palms facing forwards, shoulders roll up the ears, and then just down the back. Keep that belly engaged, inhale, sweeping arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward folds. Inhale to lengthen, half stance. And exhaling, palms connect to the mat, step or hop back through high plank, flowing through. We'll all eventually meet back in our downward facing dog. However you want to get there is entirely up to you. Once you're back in downward facing dog, checking out how things feel here. Low belly still pulls in, strong legs. Remember, if you need those micro bends to the knees, that's totally fine. Another 3. Another 2. And with your next inhale, bending at the knees, gaze forward, step or fly to the top of the mat. An inhale to lengthen it out, half stance. And an exhale to forward fold, soft knees. Root to rise, sweeping arms up, gazes up. And exhaling, palms to heart center and down by the side. Second round, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, palms connect to the mat, step, hop, flow your way. We'll all eventually be back in our downward facing dog. And once you're back in down dog, finding your space here, take a big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, right leg lifts, 3-legged dog, squaring that right hip down towards the floor. Belly nice and engaged, take a big breath in. Exhale, nose to knee to nose, rounding forwards, point the toes. Inhale to flow back, 3-legged dog. And exhale to step those right toes forwards. Scissoring the thighs right away, right hip back, left hip forward, rise up into your high lunge. So in your high lunge, a little baby bend to that back knee. Give yourself a little bit of room to tuck the pelvis. Interlacing fingers to the back of the head, squeeze the elbows and shoulders back. If you want to add a heart opener, you're going to lift the heart up to the ceiling, softening shoulders down the back. Here for 3. Here for 2. Take an inhale to send the fingertips up, and an exhale, palms come down to the mat. Drop that back heel, spin your way to the long end of the mat. And inhale to lengthen halfway, pressing that left palm back down to the floor, sending that right thumb back up to the ceiling, staying here, or wrapping around for your left hip crease, tugging it up, staying here, or grabbing the outside of that right ankle with your left hand. Rinse out the spine in opposite directions, get a big pull into that left bicep. Here for 3. Use the strength in the arms. Picture your spine as a dish rag. We're just rinsing out all the water. For 3. 2. And gently release. Carefully bring palms to the floor. Spin your way back to the top of the mat. Now from here again, tenting the fingers just in front of those right toes. Float the back leg. So you can stay here working on your warrior 3 if you wish, or left fingertips pressing down, right thumb lifts up. So when you're in a twisted half moon here, now you can play with the balance. It's a challenging posture. Use all of the work you can find in the legs. Strong, maybe you're even hovering the fingertips up off of the mat. Low belly helps contain you. Here for 3. Here for 2. Fingertips down to the mat. Big step back into a high lunge. And let's open it up into warrior two. So find your warrior two stance. Sit nice and low into that front thigh. Feel the feet align heel to heel or heel to arch. Stretching through those opposite fingertips. Sit the shoulders tall on top of the hips. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. This time inhale, flip up the palms. And exhale, dance it back. Inhale, coming forwards. Warrior two, pause. Exhale, reach up and over. Find that stretch for the left ribs. Inhale, coming up, warrior two. Exhale, dance it back. Inhale, coming forwards, warrior two. Exhale, reach up and over. Really nice. This time, inhale, coming forwards in warrior two. And exhale, cartwheeling the palms down to the mat. Pop that back heel off the floor. Left palm is heavy. Roll to the blade edges of the feet into your modified side planks. You can stay here with the right thumb lifted, or if you prefer, you can step those right toes back to stack on top of the left. Try to stack the two big toe mounts. It automatically stacks that pelvis for you. Here for 3. Push that floor away from you with your left palm for 2. And slowly, right palm comes down. Assess here, vinyasa or downward facing dog. Choose for you. Once you're back in your down dog, take a big breath in. Big breath out. Carefully coming down into your child's pose. Knees wide, hips to the heels, forehead down. So you can stay in a child's pose if you wish, or if you'd like to work into your shoulders a little bit more, you're gonna take those knees back into tabletop, and you're gonna stretch the palms to the outer corners of the mat. So that your bum stays nice and high. You'll feel this a little bit more in the shoulder blades. Low belly still pulls in wherever you choose to rest. Just make sure it's working for you. Another 3. 2. One last breath. One last exhale. Carefully bring yourself up into your classic tabletop shape. Curl those toes under. Let's send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So one more side to go. Take an inhale to lift the left leg high. 3-legged dog. Squaring that left hip down in space. Belly pulls in nice and strong. Take a big breath in. Exhale, round forwards. Nose to knee, knee to nose. Inhale to flow back. 3-legged dog. And then exhale, step those left toes forwards. Scissor the thighs. Right hip forwards, left hip back this time. Rise with control, strong legs. Little baby bend to that back knee. Interlace fingers to the back of the head so you can flip the grip so it feels just a little bit different, a little bit weird. Squeeze the elbows and the shoulders back. Send the chest, the heart up. Here for 4, 3, 2. And inhale, sends fingers up. Exhale, palms come down. Drop that back heel, spin your way to the long end of your mat once more. Arriving in that wide-legged forward fold. Walk that heart forwards, place the right palm down, send the left thumb up. You can stay here, or wrap around for that right hip crease, tugging that right hip crease up a little bit, left hip down. Staying here, or grabbing the outside of your left ankle with your right palm. Rinse yourself out in opposite directions. A little more weight rolling towards the toes of the feet. Here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very carefully unwind, lengthen the heart forwards. From there, spin your way to the top of the mat, tenting the fingers just in front of those left toes to float that back leg up. So you can work on another warrior 3 if you wish, or right fingertips pressing down, left thumb lifts up. So you're in your twisted half moon here, strong back leg. See if you can maybe even float the fingers off of the mat. Really nice work. Here for 3. Sunday things. Here for 2. And fingertips down to the mat. Big step back, landing your high lunge. And then exhale, let's open it up into warrior 2. So adjust the stance as you need. Heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Sitting low to that front thigh, drawing the knee away from the midline. Reaching through those opposite fingertips. Feeling it out, solid legs. Flowy upper half. Inhale, flip up the palms. And exhale, dance it back. Good. Inhale, coming forwards, warrior 2. Exhale, reach up and over. Inhale, coming up, warrior 2. Exhale, dance it back. Inhale to warrior 2. And exhale to reach up and over. This time, inhale up, warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel the palms to frame the foot. Pop that back heel, right palm heavy to the mat. Roll to the blade edges of the feet. Sending left thumb up, you can stay there. Or you can walk it back into your full side plank. Now really lift those hips up high as though you're a rainbow. Trying to send the hips up towards the ceiling. Here for 5. Last big push. 4, 3, 2, and carefully bringing the palm down. Assess here, one last vinyasa, or back to downward facing dog. And once you're back in that downward facing dog, take a big breath in. Big sigh out. Your next inhale, bending at the knees, gazing forwards, step or float to seated onto the bum. Extending the legs all the way in front of you. Scoot your bum up so you have enough room behind you to roll down. And then reaching the fingers forward. Nice slow melt, vertebrae by vertebrae. Give each portion of the spine a little opportunity to shine against the mat here. Once the shoulders touch, reaching the arms overhead, pointing through the toes, take a big breath in. And an exhale, knees in towards the chest. Have a little wave from left to right. Have the knees wide as you do this, really feeling the sacrum spread and widen, feeling that pressure of the mat underneath of the bones. And then you can take a happy baby here if you wish. If that feels really good, go for it. Bottoms of the feet, or ankles, or calves, or backs of the legs, up to you. 3, 2, and gathering those legs back together. Open up your arms like a capital T, palms facing up to the ceiling. So we're going to take our toes down to the mat for just a moment. Lift your hips up and shift them to the left and set them back down. Once you have that, stack the shins back to parallel with the ceiling. Take an inhale here. And exhale, let the knees fall to the right. So it's pretty normal for that left shoulder to lift up. We're going to work on dropping the left shoulder down. Take the gaze to turn the opposite direction of the knees. So you can stay here in this shape, or if you want something a little different, I'm going to draw the right thigh back in space. That left hand is going to grab the top of that left foot here and assist it as you pull back. And then again, you're going to let your head rest and let that right knee press down, or left thigh rather press down. Rinsing that spine out, lots of directions here. Getting a little bit of a quad stretch, hip flexor opener on that right leg. Here, another 3. Another 2. One more breath in. And exhale. Very carefully, open up the arms. Draw that right thigh back in space to greet the left. And then squeeze the legs and draw those knees back to center. From here, and take the tips of the toes down to the floor. Lift the hips up, shift them all the way over to the right, and then set them down. From there, stack the shins to parallel with the ceiling. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, take the knees to the left. So you can stay here in this version of a twist, a little more gentle, or if you want something a little bit more, you're going to draw the left thigh back, grabbing the top of that left foot with the right hand, pulling that left thigh back, and then resting the head back down towards the floor. Now you're going to use your left palm, if you like, against your right thigh rather. So you're rinsing yourself out opposite directions. See how much you can get that right shoulder to drop down towards the mat. Might not happen today, that's totally normal. And you're just going to work on finding those little extra millimeters of space. Here for 3. For 2. One more breath in. One more breath out. Carefully open up the arms like a capital T. Draw that left thigh back together with the right. Squeeze the legs, draw those knees back to center. Wrap your arms around the shins, bring your face into the knees. Squeeze yourself in one last final yoga ball. Compressing, consolidating your work with a big breath here. And exhale to expand into your rest, to Shavasana. You can have straight legs, you can have bent knees, or you can play the butterfly legs, soles of the feet connect, knees fall to the sides. Really take this opportunity for rest here by softening the jaw, relaxing the gaze behind the eyelids. Letting yourself just fall into an easy breath pattern, not controlling anything. Observe the dance between heartbeat and breath. And take moments for rest so that your body can make sense of the information that you gave it over these last 30 minutes. So feel free to stay here as long as you like. Take as much time and rest as you wish. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you got what you needed on your mat today. I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye. Namaste.